Are you still tired from making losses in the market? I'm sure by this time you would have watched hundreds and hundreds of videos on technical analysis. Let me tell you one thing. What you have learned is just a tip of an iceberg. I have 6 years of experience in the market and I have done the same mistake as like you are doing. Now let me tell you, stock market is just not about fundamental analysis or technical analysis, is much more deeper than this. And today we'll uncover the basics and basics of technical analysis. Right? Now let's start with the video. First thing, what is technical analysis? If you look at the definition of technical analysis is nothing but looking at the price and trying to predict whether the price will go up, down, or keep it in a sideways. Now this is very important. I cannot stress it out. Basics of technical analysis starts with finding the correct support and finding the correct resistance. If you can't find the correct support and resistance, you cannot become a good trader in this market. Now in today's video we will learn about the correct support, correct resistance. What makes a support a valid support and what makes a resistance a valid resistance, so that we can buy at support and sell at resistance. Tell me one thing. How many times it has happened with you? You drew a line thinking that it's a valid support. As soon as price come, it doesn't even respect those levels and through there it breaks and your stop loss gets hit. I know this feeling. I have done the same thing. Unless I knew these things, which I will teach you in this video. So without wasting any time, let's jump right into my screen. So I have just simply nothing but just type. You can type the word trading view, right? You can open this one. Let me close. Yes. So nothing you have to do. Just let me go to Nifty and Bank Nifty. So this is my Nifty chart, right? Which you can see now. Let me close all this. Right. Yeah. So now we will learn about the basics of technical analysis. Now I have taught you that, to learn the basics of technical analysis, first thing you have to do is to find the right support and right resistance. Now before we start about finding support and resistance, what is a valid support? What I will say a valid support and what will I say a valid resistance? I will type these things out. First thing, let me tell you. First thing, support is never a line. It's always a zone, right? First thing I will tell you that support is never a line. A lot of traders will tell you that just draw a line and it's become a support. That is completely lie. Support is never a line. It's always a zone. In my pre-market videos, you would have saw that I have said many times that support lies between 24,450 to 24,500. Now that 50 points is a zone. From there the price can bounce. So it's never a line. It's always a zone. Number two, support, correct. Support or resistance zone has to touch 3 times, then only it's a valid support or resistance. Now what do I mean by this is, I'll tell you now with the words, but definitely I'll show you on chart. So support, what calling a valid support will only be applicable if a price will come and touch that zone 3 times, then only I will call it a proper support. Now if I have to teach you with example, now let's say I will draw this zone, right? Price came one time, right? It came around here, it goes up, it came down again. Now I will not call this a valid support unless it comes back again and take 3rd time support here, right? Again it will come up, trying to come, but it fell. Now this is what I will call it a valid support. Now from here I will take a short position and keep my stop loss here and my target here. Now why will I trade this breakdown of support? is because the price touched it 3 times. Now after touching it 3 times, I will look at the chart and the price touched it 3 times. Now I will call this a valid support. If a price will break this support, I will trade. If the price will come and touch 2 times, and on the third time if it's breaking, I will not trade. I'll wait for the fourth time it will come and break it. That is called a valid support, right? Now I have taught you two things, that support is not a line, it's a zone. And number two, that support or resistance price has to touch it 3 times. On the fourth time, either it's a breakout or breakdown, you will trade. You will not trade if a price touches it 2 times and third time if it's breaking. I hope you're clear. So now let me delete all these things, right? Yes. So these are the two basic rules for finding a support and resistance. Now that I have taught you with the bookish language, let me teach you, is these things really applicable in the market? How will you see these things in live market, right? Now this same concept on yesterday market, 2 days before, I traded the same concept, what I have taught you in today's video. So let me small it down so that I'll always keep here. Yes. Now, so you can take a screenshot if you want, and write it on your pen and paper. Write it with pen and paper so that you never miss it out, right? So now that I'll keep it here. Let me zoom it. Yeah. Let me keep it here and I'll lock it. Now I'll remove all these things. Now this is what I traded, right? Now I'll tell you how technical analysis works, right? Let me remove all these things. Yes. So now what you see in these things is price came around here. This is 31st of July, 9:15. This market opened. Afterwards, here we gave a up move, right? Now I can see that price is definitely following a line. Here if I draw, right, this. Now first thing I will tell you that price is always a zone. Now this is a zone, right? Between these things, it is, it's a zone for the support. Second rule to find a support and resistance is support is touching 3 times. What do I mean by this? Is, let me show you. 1 time, right? 2 time and 3 time, right? Let me zoom it out for you. 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Second rule, support has to come at this level and touch our trend line 3 times, right? Rule is correct. Checked it. Second, it's not a line, it's always a zone. So this is a zone. From this zone to this zone, this is a zone in this market. Now price is touching 3 times and it's a zone. So I'll say it's a valid support in the market. Now I will trade this. Now look what happened. Afterwards, we saw a breakdown. What I saw here in this candle, it's a breakdown. So now I will wait closing above this. I'll keep a stop loss of high of this, and I keep a target of this. Now let me tell you, this thing works or not. Definitely it works. After learning 4-5 years and after losing a lot of money, I learned these things. Nobody will teach you these basic things about what makes a valid support and what makes a valid resistance in the market, right? This is very, very important. Now remember these 3 things, right? Remember these 2 things. I'll highlight this one. Remember this very much. Here, a price support or resistance is never a line, it's a zone. Let me write it, support and resistance. Yeah, support and resistance. It's never a line, it's always a zone, right? And support and resistance has to touch the line 3 times. 4th time on breakout, you will trade, right? So now these basics are clear. These are the 2 things you should always remember before trading the support and resistance. Now this is the one thing, right? Okay. Now another, I'll tell you. Watch this. I'll take this one From here, I'll tell you this, right? Now look what happened. Let me remove all these things so that you don't have any confusion in this market. So yeah. So now look what happened here, right? Up, this is a zone, always a zone, right? It is always a zone in the market. Yes. So now what will happen here is that it is always a zone. Number one is done. Number two, the price the support is valid is because price is touching it 3 times. So now I'll tell you this. Yeah. Look, 1 time, 2 time, and 3 time. It came here, even though we opened gap down because of the news. Still, if you would have carried the short positions, you would have made fantastic money, right? You keep the high of here, you would have made a fantastic money, right? You would have a target. You always keep at first time low. Yes, here. Target you will always keep below this. Now, here, targets you will always keep below this one. Yes. Now another example, very beautiful example I'll tell you. Very beautiful example I'll give you. Let me remove all these things. Now this is a valid support or not? Let me in the comment section. Is this a valid support? Yes, it is a valid support. Why? Because the price is touching it 3 times. Now number 1, number 2, number 3, right? And fourth, we saw a breakdown here. Breakdown. This is a breakdown, right? Price came close, and this support is valid because it's touching a 3 times and it's a zone. It's always a zone and it has to touch 3 times. Less than 3 times, I will not consider a valid support and valid resistance. So make sure you don't forget these things, right? Definitely. Now this works in Nifty, Bank Nifty, this works in your Forex, this works in your Bitcoin, this works everywhere. This technical analysis applicable in anywhere in the world, right? So this is just the tip of an iceberg, finding a support and resistance. So let me remove all these things. Yeah. So now I have given you a trade for Monday also. If we see any breakdown below this, if you see any fall below this, then definitely you know what you have to do. You have to keep in a mind of bearish position in the market, and definitely you can trade with this and keep a stop loss above this, and you can definitely trade for next support, right, which comes around 24,400, roughly around here. So now what you have to do, valid support 3 points is touching, and breakdown we are trading. It's just this normal thing, right? Another example I'll give you about the resistance. It's simple. Resistance, if you look at from here, if I'll draw, right, a trend line. Now look what is happening. I'll tell this a valid resistance. Yeah. So now if you look here, whether is it, now tell me on the comment section, is it touching the price 3 times? 1, 2, 3, right? If it's break above this, let me tell you, if it breaks above this, right, if it here, I'll tell a valid breakout. It broke the resistance. So now what I will do is I'll take the trade from here. I'll keep this high as a target, and I'll keep the stop loss below here, right? And I'll trade these things. But no, resistance, it was respecting the resistance and it broke the support. How beautiful the trade it was. Understand? So now I'll tell this a valid support and valid resistance. Let me draw this again here. I'm sorry. Yeah. Another here. Right. 1, 2. Another here. Yeah. So now 3 times is touching the resistance, 3 times is touching the support line. I will tell you this is a valid support and resistance. Anyone with this knowledge would have made a good money. Definitely even you can make the good money on Monday if you find the good setup. If you see a gap down, even you know that it's a market, keep a bearish view in the market, but later what happens tomorrow, we'll see. But definitely this is a bearish setup because it has broken the important support and it has given a negative closing, right? Important resistance it has broken. It has broken a support of 29 July and 31st July, and definitely it has broken the yesterday support. So 2 days support it has broken. So definitely I will say that this is a valid support and this is a valid resistance, and you can trade these things. Now this works in everywhere, like I said. It works in Bitcoin, it works in stocks, it can work in indexes, it can work anything. Technical analysis basics never change. All you have to do is just go back in the history and find the correct support and resistance. Another example I will give you is here. Now what happened here? Let me tell you. Now this, what happened here? Right. Now look what happened. I'll teach you what happened. So look at this. I drew the trend line. It's a zone, right? It's never a line like this. A lot of people will tell you that you should draw a line like this. No, it's never a line. It's always a zone. Don't do these things. It's always a zone. Now that you have understood this zone, what you have to do is price is touching 3 times. You have to say next. Yes, 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Yes. It made an open low next day. And then trading breakout, keep a high of this and take this short positions. Definitely you made good money. Voila, so simple. But people will not teach you these things, no, because they don't even know themselves these things. After watching, maybe they will start teaching you these things. But I have learned these things from years of hard work and losing a lot of money, right? Now I can give you countless of examples, right? Now it's your job to go in the past and check these things, whether this will work for you or not. It worked for me, it worked for many people I know. So now I have given you the proper support and resistance, how to find a proper support. What are the 2 rules which will call it a valid support and valid resistance, right? Now that all you have to do is just backtest and apply these things in the market. And I'm sure if you follow these 2 things, definitely month end you will make money. You will make money. It's not that hard. Now it works with everything. Now I'll tell you about, let's say, another stock called Reliance. Now here only I traded. Now let me tell you one thing. Here you see, right? This one only I traded around, when did I traded? I traded at 23rd of July I traded Reliance. So now let me tell you one thing. Now is this not a valid support? 1, 2, 3, 4. More than 3 is fantastic, but minimum 3. Below 3 is not valid. Now another short positions. I'll take breakdown of this here, and then voila. Next support is my target. This was important support, right? Here I'll go. This is a important support. It gave a breakdown. Now I'll trade it this breakdown. You can hold your positions. Now another support that is there for the Reliance is this. A very important. Let me go to higher time frame. Now this is a very important support for Reliance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times it is touching the zone. So now breakdown, we can see a bearish move, and if it takes support from here, you will buy. But you will see how the market will react. You see the volume, you see the candle size, all these things you have to watch it very closely. So now these things are there. So now I have given you the basics of support and resistance. What makes a valid support? What makes a valid resistance? So now I have given you the basics of support and resistance. What makes a support valid? What makes a resistance valid? Now it's your homework to look in the past of various stocks. Just do hundreds of stocks and find the support and resistance and look whether these 2 rules are being followed or not, and how could you have money, what you did wrong, and is it helpful or not. Let me know in the comment section. And if you like this video, subscribe, like and share, so that other your trader friends will get help from this video and they will stop losing money in the market, right? Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. See you. Bye bye.